What's going on, guys? Alex with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Clyde. So this is one of the 4 knives that I got in on loan via DNK Knives. Don over there was very nice, and he basically let me go through his website and pick out some folders that he would send me for review. And this was one of the ones I picked. And I'm gonna be upfront and honest with you guys. This is probably the worst one out of the 4 he sent me. Not probably, it definitely is the worst one to me. I don't like it that much. I'm glad I got to check it out. You know, I've kind of been on a Giant Mouse kick recently. I think I talked about it when I unboxed this, but this is just one that never really got, I don't know, it never really registered with me too much. Like, it never clicked with me. You know, it has some okay qualities, but overall I'm just not a huge fan of it. But before we get into the review, this is obviously every time you guys see this, it's like a new character's unlocked in a video game. Well, this is a new location unlocked. I'm in my garage, so I just got home from work, took my dog Lucy on a couple loops, and I have to mow some grass in about an hour, but I didn't want to, waste a good day. It's beautiful out here. We kind of had a crappy rainy week last week, so this week it's starting out to be, it's Monday, good start, nice and sunny. So I'm hanging outside with Lucy, letting her, chill outside and stuff like that. So I figured do some reviews while I'm out here. So yeah, I'm in the garage. Hopefully it's not echoing too bad. It's echoing to me, but again, hopefully you guys can hear everything okay, and hopefully the road noise isn't too bad. We're way up on the hill. We're probably 300-400 yards off of the road, but it still gets pretty loud sometimes. But hopefully it's not going to bother you guys. So yeah. Ace Clyde, obviously jumping right into materials, you guys can see this is rocking some red aluminum scales, black hardware. This has a single thumb stud, so that is an interesting aspect of this knife. There is the lanyard section back there, lanyard tube, post, whatever you want to call it. Comes with a loop over style wire deep carry clip that does work very nice. I love wire clips, so I like that aspect of it. Has a black backspacer. It is a liner lock, and you have a lot of access there for that liner. This is I believe, a washer knife, and there is no internal milling going on. Yeah, no pockets at all. But some specs on the knife. Overall length is 6.97 inches, blade length of 3 inches. The blade steel is an N690, which you guys might be able to catch right there if my camera focuses. I am using my front-facing camera because I don't have my watch on to make sure the back camera is set up and everything like that, so might be why it's not focusing as well. But there's N690. N690 is kind of a mess steel to me. I'm not a huge fan of it. Aluminum materials, or handle material, liner lock, and this weighs 2.8 ounces. Honestly, it feels a little bit heavier than that. I would definitely, if I didn't know that, I would have guessed maybe 3.5, something like that. And then this is made in Italy. So this is not a Riot made Giant Mouse. This is a Italian made, which they're kind of known for being hit or miss on their quality and their tolerances and stuff like that. I can definitely see a few things which I'll talk about later in the review, where maybe they missed on this, and that it wasn't the best quality, wasn't the best tolerances from the factory. But for every bad one, you get a good one from Italy. So it is what it is. Sorry about that, guys. My sister came outside to grab something, and I didn't know how long she was gonna be out here, so I cut the camera, or I cut the recording. So I have to splice that together. But as I was saying, I think I was talking about Italy and Riot differences and stuff like that, which I will talk later in the video, kind of on some things that I didn't really think that was best from the factory. But all in all, it's not a bad knife. I just do want to get that out there. I don't love the knife. It's not for me, but I can definitely see the quality behind it, and I can definitely see someone enjoying it for what it is. And if you like these, style of knives, these upswept blades, to each their own, and more power to you. Just not for me, personally. But this is a flat grind. There is a swedge bit on the top here. It doesn't come down to the thinnest edge. I've definitely, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. Definitely is not the thinnest, but definitely not the thickest at the same time, if that makes sense. And again, it has this upswept blade. So really, like, this is out of the ordinary for me. I don't gravitate towards blade shapes like this at all. They do not come into my rotation. I don't buy them. So I think that was kind of why it drew me to this, to getting to check out for a review, because this is something I would never buy for myself. But it has a nice belly right here, but then as it gets towards the tip, it definitely you get less cutting edge. And to me, if I were going to be doing push cuts, this would be really easy to slip out of cuts. But I guess I can talk about that later with the ergos, but that was just something that kind of caught my eye too. And I've always thought that way with these upswept blades. It's definitely harder to stay in cuts. It's harder, it's not as utilitarian as just a drop point, a spear point, a Warncliffe, sheep's foot, stuff like that, in my personal opinion. But again, to each their own. So I think that's all for materials. We're gonna jump onto action next. So action, you can only do technically 2 methods of opening with this knife. With the singular thumb stud, you don't have dual thumb studs. I guess you could do 3, but primarily you can slow roll it, which I'm not a huge slow roll fan. You guys know, I've probably said that in every video I've done, every review I've done. I'm not a huge slow roll fan, but sometimes it feels good, and it feels when the knife is right for slow rolling, it can really feel good. And this is a knife that I think feels good for slow rolling because it's on washers. You kind of have that, everyone uses this term, but that kind of hydraulic action. It's definitely not the best washer action I've felt before, but it's not too bad. I will say there is some lock stick. That was kind of one of the things I wanted to touch on with like the QC and the tolerances coming out of the factory from Italy not being on point. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but it does catch a little bit. It's a little bit gritty. And if you snap it open, it gets a little like it. The harder you open it, the worse it gets from an action standpoint. But you guys can hear me popping it, and then it's kind of hit or miss, but it's definitely there. But for a slow roller, it's very nice. You can get some good purchase down here, and just it pops right out. You can thumb flick it, but again, you really have to kind of get down here on an angle, and instead of pushing out, you kind of push like on an angle to shoot it out of there, and it flies right out. Another thing that I was a little bit disappointed with, there was some blade play, right from the factory, which that happens more oftentimes than not, I guess. It's definitely not just the Italian knives. It's definitely a knife realm thing. A lot of factories send knives that aren't super Loctited down. So that's, it's sort of a pass, but I did want to note that as well. But slow roll is nice. Thumb flick is decent. When you get enough power behind it, it definitely, thwacks out of there. You guys can hear it. Now for the third one, you can middle finger flick this knife with your left hand, your left middle finger. It's not as easy because, with the washer, it doesn't fly out as easy like that. You can fail it. So you really have to build pressure and flick it. It's not the most comfortable middle finger flick in the world. I probably wouldn't do it all that often, but I definitely just wanted to highlight that for you guys. So it does work, but what I have found, it's not very consistent because you have to, build that pressure. You have to find kind of the right angle of the knife and or the right angle of holding the knife and building pressure, and then you can get it once in a while, but again, it's not going to be consistent. So action for what it is, not bad, but you guys know I definitely prefer the bearing knives, the drop shot action, the fidgetability. So the fidget factor of this knife is just non-existent in my opinion. Sure, a good slow roll every once in a while is nice, and it kind of takes you back to like the old-fashioned ways, and it takes you back in time to how knives used to be open. Well, they used to be open with in a pinch grip, but not a pinch grip, but you pinch it open like a slip joint. But a slow roll definitely has sort of a nostalgic, like classic knife feel, and this sort of gets there. It's kind of like halfway there. Is it, you know, the worst I felt? No. Is it the best I felt? Also no. So, you know, I can't really give the action too much of a gripe because I knew what I was getting myself into when I asked to check this out. A single thumb-studded knife on washers. You know, it's not going to be fantastic for my purposes, but the thumb flick is nice in the middle. You know, the thumb roll is decent as well. So I give, you know, I'm not going to give the action 2 thumbs up. It's kind of just whatever. Not great, but not, you know, bad. So take that with a grain of salt. But next up is Ergos. Now this knife is pretty straightforward. You do have, it's pretty straight right here, and then it tapers off, but it's a straight line and a straight line. And then down here, you pretty much have a straight line the whole way across. So it's very, very easy. You know, it's not a very, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, unique build. It's very simple, very plain Jane kind of. You do have a little bit of jimping right there, but I don't know why it's right there. Because when I hold this knife, I'm gonna put my, you know, thumb out yonder, unless you're holding it back here like to pierce something. But I can get all 4 fingers on here. One thing I did want to talk about with the action technically just came to mind is the lock bar access is really good. You have all that cut out there. That's where the thumb stud is housed, but you have just access for days, and that was a really good thing I like from, you know, Giant Mouse. I like that they did that. It makes for a great, you know, granted it'd be better if it was dropping your nail and you were swinging it home, but I did want to highlight that for you guys as well. So kudos to them for giving a lot of lock bar access. But back to Ergos. I can get all 4 fingers on here. You kind of have a little bit of a choil choke up point here, although it's not a choil choke up point at the same time. It's kind of just how the handle is. But I can get all 4 fingers on there with just a little bit of knife sticking out the back. No jimping out here on the blade, but it is a crown spine, which is nice. I always appreciate a crown spine. It makes Ergos, you know, when you have your hand and your thumb out here way on the blade to, you know, for specific cuts, it makes it so much more comfortable than having just a normal blade spine. It's very comfortable, and it's very almost like soft to the touch. Like you're not going to be cutting yourself. You're not going to be like kind of getting yourself in the corner of this. Again, it's very comfortable. Now the aluminum, it has a little bit of a matte feel to it. And one thing I did notice with it is it takes oils a lot more easier than I thought it would. You know, I've only carried this a handful of times. I've definitely carried this at least out of all the 4 knives that Dawn sent me. And I don't know if my camera's gonna pick this up, but there definitely is a little bit of discoloration going on there. You know, it's not like my hands are dirty. I did just come from work, but you know, I made sure to go in and wash my hands before I grabbed these. And I haven't I've only cut I think a letter and like a couple packages with this knife. So it's not like I've hard used it or anything like that. But just from, you know, your hands and your oils, I guess, kind of react with this sort of specific aluminum. It's very soft. It's very supple kind of aluminum, and it has a very unique texture to it. It's different than any other aluminum I've handled before. I think it's just finished a little bit softer, but you know, it's great in hand. It's great to hold on to. You know, in a saber grip, a hammer grip. You can, you know, if you're going to be doing some 7-Eleven gas station knife fights with Kevin over a Slurpee, this probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world because you kind of have a nice thumb landing point up there. And the way this blade is shaped, you could definitely you know, jab into some people and slice and dice up. So it's probably not the worst idea to take this if you're going to be doing some Slurpee fights. But all in all, you know, Ergos are good. Are they the best in the world? No, because, you know, as good as I was saying this lock bar cutout is for liner access or lock bar access, it makes it kind of a little bit of a hot spot ergo wise. Got my Mountain Dew Summer Freeze. I try to drink a lot of water at work instead of, a lot of the guys bring pop and stuff, but I try to drink a lot of water so that way I can enjoy stuff in the evening when I get home. Just kind of the way my brain works. But yeah, it makes it a little bit of a hot spot because a lot of the, you know, when I'm choked up, my middle finger kind of falls right in there. And it's not the worst, but it definitely can get kind of annoying with the jimping of the liner lock and whatnot. So all in all, ergos are okay. You know, kind of the theme of this knife. It's meh. You know, it's not bad, but it's not good at the same time. It's kind of right in the middle. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But next up is carry. And I will say this knife carries pretty dang good. It has a loop over style wire pocket clip, which I love wire clips. They're unobtrusive. They go in and out of your pocket very easily. They're just simple, but they work so well, and I really, really enjoy those. I don't, you know, I wish it was a little bit deeper. I feel like they could have maybe readjusted that pocket clip to, or this clip screw, maybe a little bit up here in the corner to get a little bit more deep carry. And I don't know why they did not tap this for lefty carry. You could have easily just put one screw in there and you could have switched the clip from both sides. That's definitely kind of a head scratcher to me. I don't know why they didn't do that, because you definitely had the ability to do that on this specific knife. But, and one other thing, the clip is obviously stuck down in the scale, but it has like a mushroom shaped clip screw. I feel like they could have maybe, you know, sunk it a little bit deeper and gave it more of a flat top screw to kind of be flush, because that could get caught in your pocket. I didn't have any issues with it, but I definitely could see a situation where, you know, that might arise and that might come up and you might be struggling to get, you know, the final like couple centimeters down in your pocket because of that clip screw. But I only carry this in my front right pocket of my shorts. Actually, no. Sorry, I'm so used to saying jeans. I carried this, I think 2 or 3 times. And I carry, well, so when I carry or wear traditional khakis, I carry in my back left pocket. When I wear gym shorts, I usually just throw it in a pocket, or I have a little zip pocket like behind my left pocket. It can sit in there. And then I also just got some new Bird Dog shorts for Christmas. I've worn those a few times. They also have a zipper pocket on your behind the right pocket, and it is more of a horizontal pocket, so it can carry like a traditional jean pocket, which I like. Long story short, it carries well. You know, I did think the weight was a little bit more than 2.8 ounces, but it's not heavy by any means. And it is a nice, small, sleek looking package. I like how the blade gets tucked into itself. You know, pocket clip works well. The aluminum allows it to go in and out of pocket very, 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 very easily. Sits in your pocket like this. You have no flipper tab or any sort of jimping. If you're going down for, you know, going down for change, coins, medicine, anything you might have floating underneath your knife, you're not going to be, you know, have at risk popping it up out when you pull your hand up out. It's all nicely contoured and rounded in all the right places. So, you know, really no complaints at all with the carryability of this knife. So that leads me to my final category of price point and what I recommend this knife. Price point at DNK Knives is $145. It is out of stock, but Don has quite a few different models there. He has all the aluminum ones, so he has red aluminum, just like this. He has a black aluminum, all right, so I guess he just has 2 aluminums, the black and the red, but then he also has a denim micarta, a brass handled one, a natural micarta, and a green micarta, and those all have LMAX. So if you are interested in this specific knife, just because you like the looks of it, I would definitely spend, let's see what the green micarta one is. It's $175. I would definitely spend the extra $30 to get micarta and to get LMAX over N690. That is a huge steel upgrade in my humble opinion. I think it's worth the $30. But so since the red one is sold out, I'll leave a link to Don's page with all of the Clydes. If you guys are interested in checking that out, it'll be in the link down below. So $145, you know, at that price point, I really would like to see a better steel than N690. I have just never really had great experiences with N690. And again, you guys have to take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't hard use my knives. I'm not out there testing knives and testing steels and stuff like that. That's not who I am. That's just not, you know, I don't have enough things in my life that I need to be using my knives for in that situation. I'm more of the letter opener, the Amazon package opener, cutting up some cardboard, just typical stuff like that. So take it with a grain of salt, but I just, from my experiences, and I've heard a lot of other people say how N690's, not the best steel. I really would have liked to seen them use something better, maybe even like S35, even 154 CM, maybe something in that category for that price point. So that kind of is a knock for me. But overall, build quality, it's decent. Like I stated earlier, with Italian-made knives, you're going to get kind of hit or miss quality checks and hit or miss, tolerances from the factory, as opposed to Riot and other, OEMs and whatnot. So, 145, I can see it being right in that range. I really can't see it being any cheaper. Any more expensive, I would say absolutely not. But even at 145, that's a little bit of a stretch for me. I would definitely pony up the extra $30 to get my Carta or brass handle scales with that Elmax steel. That seems like a pretty good package at a pretty good price. So I can definitely sort of push you towards that. But I'm glad I got to check it out. It's one of those knives that I'll probably never miss having. I'll probably never go like, man, I really want to fidget with that Ace Clyde. I'll never, never think like that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I got to check it out, and it was, extra content for you guys. So really, that's all I wanted to do with these loaners, is just to get to know some knives that I, have never previously held, and get some better content and some better, more stuff for you guys to check out. So again, that'll be linked down below. I guess I never said if I can recommend it or not. I can recommend it to people who enjoy this blade shape. If you like the way this looks, definitely go for it. If not, I'll probably never go out of my way to recommend it to anybody, but that's just how it goes sometimes in the knife world with some stuff that you just don't really like that much. And that's how it is with this. So this was my full review on the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Clyde. Huge shout out to Dawn over at DNK Knives for loaning this, as well as the other 3 that you guys are going to be seeing probably in the next 3 videos for review. Dawn, I really appreciate it. I really enjoy getting to know some of these knives, and I really enjoy Dawn being just an awesome person and reaching out and sending me some stuff to check out. So as always, guys, links in the description down below for the Clyde, and Blue Creek Knives is linked down below, as well as Barnescraft Designs. Use code 814EDC to save some money on both sites. Helps you, helps me, it helps Brian, and helps Holden. It is a win-win-win. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.